各位亲爱的网友朋友，大家好。
Hello everyone.
今天咱们的话题啊，就是让血栓消融。
Today the topic is dissolve blood clots. It is a very difficult task.
达奈说过，因为你比较懂这个哈，就是好像血栓一旦在人体里形成之后，从医学角度来看的话，血栓是不可能自己溶解的，对不对？
I remember Dharma, you mentioned that when the blood clots happen, it is difficult to get it out of the body. Indeed, it needs either medical care to actually remove it through surgeries, or you actually use some exterior factors. Otherwise, the clot will remain there.
但是今天我们的是不是这个题目起错了呢？我们接着慢慢往下听。
Let's talk a little deeper in this topic.
那给大家稍微回顾一下我们上一次的内容哈。那我们再来看一下。
First, let's just revise the videos that we watched last week.
的时候呢，会产生的后果。对，我们看一个视频。
Let's look at this video.
这个应该也是一个类似于节目主播哇。
This is also
摔到架子上了。
It was actually during some reporting or presenting of news, and it happened.
先是双眼发直，这个他看起来挺年轻的，还是怎么？
And this guy is pretty young.
哎呦，这小女孩，
哎呀，真的，哎呦，太不忍心看到了。
哦，她整个都在。
还是个小女孩啊！
哎，这是个冰球运动员哎。
This is a ice hockey.
当中突然的
倒下了。对，
嗯，
所以大家可以从视频里看得出来哈。其实包括这种职业运动员，他们也可以。
You can see that even for professional
就是因为血栓或者是
sportsmen, they have that as well.
所以他这个疾病真的是不挑人。
对，
年轻人好像视频里蛮多的。
其实我们看到
Actually, a lot of young people get that.
比较年轻的，
一个年轻的主播呀，老师啊，一些在那讲演的也并不年长的哈。 还有一些正在运动的运动员。
Even people who are actually presenting, like teachers, or even while playing sports.
动嘛，特别是下肢哈，我们的腿脚久坐不动或者久站不动，容易。
Maybe because people who stand there for a long
可
time.
是运动员来说，他也是经常一直在动的哈。
But actually, for the sportsmen, they always move a lot.
可能在自己的血管里已经形成了血。
So maybe something has already formed there in the blood.
它就真的像一个隐形的杀手一样的。
对，其实我们在查看这个资料中哈，发现大量的正在健身房运动或者在球场上运动的一些运动员哈，当场就倒下去。
Actually, in the research that we've done, we find that a lot of people, they faint while doing exercise or while doing their
运动
sports.
量够不够呢？
So it's actually a very serious problem.
他已经超额了。
对。
那所以
So you think
从运动
about
的
the
角度
professional
对血栓来
athletes,
说
do they exercise
他们应
enough?
该不应该有血
Yes,
栓
in fact, they exercise excessively, but they too suffer from myocardial infarctions.
100%的这样的保证的。
当然我想到就倒下去的原因也不一定是血栓，
也是有可能啦。
可能突然间就是。
But I think that the reason why they faint or fell down may not all be related to this blood clot.
稍微的回顾一下血栓的主要几点，然后跟大家。
Well, maybe let's just revise the main cause of
我们
thrombosis.
学到呢，就是血栓呢，就是在我们血管里凝结的。
First, for thrombus, is a blood clot that clots in the blood vessel.
那它有什么引发呢？那在我们的动脉当中呢，通常是因为三高引发的，像比如说
As for arterial thrombosis, it's actually because of the tree high.
堆积过高呢，它会
And because of the tree high, they narrow the blood vessels. So the accumulations of hyperlipidemia into blood vessels plaques, the rupture of blood vessels walls, and cause scarring.
血脂在我们的血管里堆积，然后呢，已经把我们的血管变窄了之后呢，血液就流不过去了。
So it actually prevents smooth blood flow due to the narrowing of blood
我
vessel.
们的血液那个地方呢，就会形成结疤，形成那个血栓。对，这是在动脉里面的。
So this happened.
像在静脉
This is
里
how
面
it
呢
happens
像
to
刚才
the
老师提到的
arteries.
是由于我们长期的久站
There's
和
also
久
the
坐呢
venous
坐不动
thrombosis,
然后也不换姿势，然后我们的
and that
血
is
液呢
due to
就
the
一直
lack
沉
of
积在腿中
exercise,
那它就产生
prolonged
流得
sitting
慢
or
不在那里聚
standing
得那么多
or
它就容易
immobility or
形成
maintaining
栓
in the
子
same
它就
posture
会就是
for a
会
long
引发
time.
血栓。对
and due to the slow blood flow in the lower limbs and hypercoagulability. The other thing that we want to pay attention to is we want to make sure that we have to maintain a calm emotions. Too much excitement and anger can easily cause these myocardial infarctions and cerebral infarctions.
因血栓而起的致病乃至致死率是很高的哈。我们上一期直播中也讲到，它是统计来说看，基本上占到在美国是占到1/4了。
Actually, from last week during the live broadcast, we did mention that it is quite a serious disease because 25% death is caused by this. So it causes a lot of danger to human health. So is there any special method to help people who are suffering from this? Actually, I do have an opportunity to, a few years ago, I have a practitioner, the relative, the uncle. The uncle is a very reputable Chinese physician. He's in his 70s. And he already shows signs of a stroke. So she already feels a bit numbness, partial stroke, and have difficulties trying to kneel down and stand up. And this happens to one of the our practitioner. But because the uncle is a very renowned Chinese physician, he knows of a health prescriptions. Some of his patients have consumed this. So that's why he recommended this method to the practitioner. And this practitioner used this method for about a year, and after that, all the symptoms disappears. This is a good method. So that's why the practitioner tell me and say, Master, don't share with others. But now that I know this, I will share with you. Do you want to hear? Yes, so this name is called 4 treasures powder. So today, we have a sample for you here. Let's see what are the 4 items. I want to make it very clear to you. First, a very important ingredient is Panax notoginseng. This looks like stone. The best is actually from Yunnan province. I don't know anywhere else. So this is the most important medicine. Any blood-related disease is good. It has a cardiotonic effect, and it can promote blood circulation throughout the body. So improve blood supply to the brains and nourishes qi and blood throughout the body. So this also helps to reduce the tree high, prevent blood clots. So the second one is American ginseng. Actually, American ginseng is widely available. They're cut in slices. It's very easily that you can purchase. Why is it called American ginseng? Because it's produced in North America. These are cultured in North America. It's very effective.
这个它的这个西洋参的这个作用哈，简单来说叫补气养血。
So broadly speaking, it nourishes tea and blood.
你比如说我们中国的和韩国的这个人参呢哈，
Say for example, the Chinese ring ginsengs and the Korean ginseng, it's more heaty in nature.
有些人呢就特别上火。
Some people after they consume that,
西洋参
the body becomes very heaty.
它呢就是不会让你燥火，还能够很轻松的。
But American ginsengs were not.
它呢能产生的这个能量呢，推动血液的循环。
The energy that it produces can help to promote blood
细节我
circulation.
就不说了哈，细节我就不说了。这个
I will not delve deeper into the
大概给大家介
details,
绍这样的
but at
4个
least
内
you
容
know
哈
that these are the items.
那么下一副药呢，
And the
这叫
third is
丹参。
salvia.
叫参的这个名字哈，大概有10来种。就我知道还有沙参呐，什么很多种参哈，红参。
This is red
那
sage
这个呢叫丹参，
or
它的
red
效果不
sage.
一样的哈。
It
对
is
它
a
可
little
能
bit
对于
different, the
心
effect.
脏的疾病啊、心脏损伤啊，
It is
心
relating
肌
to
什
the
么
expand
无
the
力啊
coronary
还有
arteries,
降血脂啊、扩张
and
血
it
管
also
啊，
helped
这
to
个丹参
reduce
是
the tree
非
high.
常好的一种药。这个大家也可以上网查哈。我觉得
You
吃
can
明
go
白
to the
你才
internet and find
吃
it.
的也踏实啊。丹参啊。那么
It
第4
also
种
removed the
最
blood
后一种就是
stasis.
叫石斛。
And next
石斛
is
石
dendrobium.
斛对，像中国卖的石斛呢，它在中药店之中哈，刚才图片之中看的像小草绳捆起来，
So you can see the
捆
picture.
成了一个草绳的疙瘩。
It looks
它一
like
般都是这么卖
a
的，就是中国对于中药
like
的研究
straw.
呢，从几千年之前就有了。
Actually,
所以呢
this
它对
happens a
每
few
种药的
thousand
这
years
种
ago.
存放与加工的方法是非常独特的，每一种药有它自己独套的加工或储存的方法。
Actually,
那
all
这个
the
石斛
Chinese
呢，
medicine
就像
has
草
its
绳
various
晾干之后
way
拧
of
起来
treatment and
产生一个疙
storage.
瘩，这就是这个石斛的这个概念哈。
So this is
那当
dendrobium.
然，石斛之中也分了好多种了。
There are
那
different types of
老医生
dendrobium.
告诉我呢，他推荐的是最好的那个石斛，是叫铁皮石斛，叫铁皮石斛。
So the best one,
但是通常呢，就在中药
is
店，石斛也就可
the
以，
iron-skinned
也不是要求绝对那么高
dendrobium.
质量的哈。当然，如果说咱们经济比较富裕，这几样东西呢，可以买这个优质的。
So
因为每一
if
种
you
药
are
当中
more
有
well
优质一
off,
点呢，也有差一点
you
的。
want to pick those
天
that
然
are of
生长的
better
东西
qualities.
这是对于这个活血化瘀、清理血
So
管。
it helps to
它
cleanse
就是一个
the
清道
blood
夫
vessels.
而且呢，它会
It
也就是
promotes
促进了
blood
这个血管的
circulations.
扩张，
It
还有
dilates the
降低
blood
这个
vessels.
血的胆固醇，
It also lowers the
降低
blood
血糖
cholesterol
都是
and
有
lower
非常的
blood
好处
sugar.
所以这是一个非常非常好的一副药材哈。
So this is a
这样
very
4
good,
种宝物4种药
very
材
good
就是
medicine as
它
well.
的分量比例
So
就是
these are the 4
1:1:1:1
medicines.
就是各自同样的重
So
量。
what you do is you take the portions of
对对对
1
其实你都
is
不
to
用
1
写
is
这
to 1
么记
is to
下来
1. That's the
那么
ratio.
这个方呢之后我们会直播完了之后呢，让我们工作人员
After our
专
live
门把一
broadcast,
个这个
we will get
自保粉的
our
配方贴出来
staff
你也很容易下载下
to
来呢
present it
贴在自己家墙上
in something that's very easy for
很
you
容易
to
去
print,
买
and it's very easy for
你
you
的
to
最好的
buy.
方法呢，你在这个药店里买的时候
You can buy from
就怕药
those
店里
traditional
说我们已
Chinese
经配好了
medicine
自保粉
hall.
你掏钱给你1包就好了。你们觉得呢？
哎呀，
我为啥这样说？
这个什么粉啊？到底反正看着都一样，长得都叫
没错
粉。
有时候呢，咱们中国人每一个开药店的人，这个他的道德修养不一样
Well,
对吧？
everyone, but you want to be
他确实
careful.
给你
You
放
want
了
to
4包粉
buy the original
道德
and
差一点的
have
说不定
the
就是面
medicinal hall people to
再
help
差一
grind
点
for
就
you
是
into
土豆粉
powder.
这也挺麻烦所以
Why
说
you
我
don't
们
want
要
to buy
就
those
吃得明白
premix?
我买得明白
Because
我吃得也明
people,
白
you do not know
店
if
里头
what is
通
the
常卖
what
中
is
药
actually the
他给
powder
你
that they use for
负责
you.
给你帮你切片或者是磨粉那你呢最好呢你买上那个重量的这4种都买你看得见的这个药物
The best is you
你
buy
要求店家
what
给
you
你磨
can
成粉
see.
就完了当场磨
You ask them to do it for you there and then. If they say that, well, you go and buy something and I come back, I'll give it to you. No, you wait there. Because you want to make sure that you see them grinding it into powder. But for our own health, we want to be able to see it before we take away. Otherwise, the person may cheat you. Because we want to make sure that whatever we consume is the good one. Then you'll be able to help us to mitigate the risk. So remember the proportion. The ratio is 1:1:1:1:1. So they're of equal proportions. So every day, you just take a little bit and you mix well with some warm water and you just take it. Maybe it's about 5 grams, roughly that proportions. Don't take too much, and you consume it morning and night. I think this is really good. And we should learn it. But there's also some group of people that they are not used to it. But there are some groups that are suitable. Some people have allergy. So for this, people who are cancer patients, the doctors have already prescribed treatment during the chemotherapy period, or pregnant women. So usually if you want to keep the fetus, you want to make sure that the medicines you consume doesn't help in the blood circulations. Or if it's too young children, you should avoid taking these medications. Or people who have hypertension or low blood pressure, or people who inherently have some allergy to some medications.
通常你弄这个药粉之后溶解了像能喝的这个样子，其实就是拿手指蘸一下，蘸一下这个。
If you want to know if you're allergic or not, you just take the powder, put the warm water, and you use your finger to take some and just place around your pulse area. If you can feel some itch, then maybe it means that the medicine is not suitable for your body. But if you don't feel any itch, then it's probably all right.
那么还有就是像女士月经期
So for women during their menstruation cycle period, they should avoid this. And it is also not suitable to be taken with radish or tea.
很多人比较大方不管吃什么东西，只要喝的是液体，一定是茶。
Some people love tea, and the only fluids that they drink is tea.
通常是白开水就最好大概就是这样子。
好的，感恩师父。
希望大家呢能够有这个需求的话。
So I hope that if you have the need,
但是呢，我不是医生，
you can give a try.
我不是医生，我只是
But I'm not a doctor.
医生给很多人用的就是这个药方。
But I know that a lot of Chinese physicians, they prescribe this.
当然了，如果你觉得不放心，你可以咨询你。
But if you are not sure, so the best, or if you're currently on medications, you want to make sure that you check it out first.
电视机前不是电视，就是网络前的网友们如果有这个需要的话，也是尽快的可以去药房买这些原材料。
So I think for people who have a need, please you can consider doing that. You can go in getting this.
研磨成粉，就开始用起来吧，希望能够早点帮到大家，
And hopefully
化解这个
you'll be
血栓
able
的
to
形
reap
成。
the
那么
rewards
这个呢
from
是
this
四宝粉，是我们今
the
天
four
直播的
treasure.
特别重要推荐的这样一个宝物哈，一个妙方。那同时，其实在我们平常的日常生活中，也有一些基本的食材是大家常见的。那么这些食材呢，
Actually, there are
它
some
也有
food
利于
that is quite
保
common
护
for us
和
that
预
to
防我们的
prevent the
心
blood
脑血管
clots.
的疾病啊，比方说能够也是有
They
抗
also
氧化
contain
或者
nutrients
是
that
能够
protect
促进血
the
液循环
cardiovascular
也
and
防止这个
cerebrovascular health.
血栓的
They
形
also
成，
reduce the
来
tree
帮助
high.
降三高，
They
它们也有
resist
这
the
样的功效。
thrombosis
那么我们
or
也来看
reduce
一
the
看
blood
有哪些我们
viscosities
常见
and
的，比
promote
方
blood
说蔬果
circulations.
粮食啊，还有什么情况也能够帮助我们来预
So you
防这
can
些心脑
consume
血
more
管
with
疾
your
病
daily
和预防
diets
血栓的形
so
成。
that they can help prevent
第一类呢是
cardiovascular
蔬
and
菜水果
cerebrovascular
类的，
and thrombosis
它们呢
related
像
diseases.
羽衣甘蓝啊，我们以
First
前在
is the
直播当中
vegetables
介
and
绍
fruit
过，还有
categories.
西兰花、
We have the kale, the
苦瓜、
broccoli,
黑木耳，
we have the black fungus,
还有莴苣、大蒜、
lettuce, garlic,
苹果、
apple,
樱桃、
cherry,
柠檬、
lemon,
番石榴、梨，
guava,
像这些
pear
就是特别有帮助，对预防心脑血管疾病，还有就是预防血栓的形成是特别好的蔬菜。
So these are very
水果
suitable
类的，
vegetables
我们
and
给网友们
fruits
做这样的一个推
to
荐。
help prevent cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, and thrombosis related
像谷物里面
diseases.
呢，也给大家推荐一些呢，就比如说有高粱，然后有燕
There's
麦，
also
有
sorghum,
黑豆，
oat,
还有绿豆。
black beans,
对，这4类谷物
and
呢，
mung
其实
beans.
是对于尤其是血液里的那个坏胆固醇
These will
很
help
有效，因为
to
它们都很
reduce
富含那个
the
膳
bad
食纤维，
cholesterol
所以我们知道，我们膳食纤维吃多了的话，它
because
会
it
帮助我们
they
就是
actually
减缓我们
contains
吸收
very
血
high
糖的一个
fiber.
速度，平稳我们的血糖，还可以
So
帮
you
我们
help
降
to
胆固醇。
balance the blood
所以呢，这
sugar.
4味的谷物呢，也是推荐大家可以在平日里的饮食当中呢，
So
尽量地
these
掺
are
一些，
some
会有
cereals that you want
有
to
利于我们
incorporate
这个健康的维持。
into your daily healthy
接下来
diets.
是食用油之类的。
Next
我们也给网友推
categories
荐
is the
一些
oil.
相对来说比较清淡健康类的这种食用油，它们是牛油果
So we
油、
have the avocado
橄
oil,
榄油、
olive
葵花
oil,
籽油，还有
sunflower seed
花生
oil,
油。
and peanut oil.
再接下去呢是中药材，
And
中药
next
材
we
里
have
面
the Chinese
我们
medicinal
刚刚就是有
materials.
师傅提到的那个4宝粉里边的
We have
4
the
味
four
宝贝，
treasures
我
that
们的
Master
番
just
茄、
mentioned,
丹参、
the red
花旗
sage,
参，
American
石斛
ginseng,
然后还有
and
五味子、
dendrobiums.
藏红花、
And we also have
冬虫
saffron,
夏草，还有羚羊角。
sandalwood,
后面的
antelope horn.
这3味药材比较名贵，但是我们查了之后呢，也是它对于那个就是抗血栓、保护心脑血管疾病、活血化瘀、养血也都
Cordyceps
是
as well.
真的是那是就是灵丹妙药来
Saffron
对
真的是
如果网友们有这个方面的需求，然后觉得合适的话，也可以少
And
量
if you
地
have
服用一
needs
些。
对，就讲到这个五味子啊，
This
就是我们
helps.
这次在韩国也是韩国比较多产这个五味子，而且
And
很
there's
著名的一
also
款饮
the
料就是五味子
Sesandra
茶
berries as
哈
well.
我们当时真的是喝了不少，很受益。
是
We
原来
benefited
我
a
以
lot
为
in
哈
Korea
听
when
这
we
个
drink
名称
it.
五味子，我还以为是5种什么
Initially,
食
I
材
thought
配
there are
起来
5
的
types
原来它就是一样啊
of
小果子哈
different
所以也是
berries,
学到
but
了
it's
知识
not.
也给大家再介绍一些健康类的饮
And
料
also
哈
want to recommend
就是
some
能够
drinks
预防这个心脑血管疾
that
病的
helps.
有绿茶
We have green tea,
红茶
we have
生普
black
洱
tea,
我们这一次要跟大家介绍的普洱茶是生普洱，就是没有经过发酵的这样的普
We
洱
also
它比较
have
青色的那个
raw
样子
pu'er,
还有就是我们之前给大家推荐过的乌梅醋
and also plum
也是特别
vinegar.
的有效。
Black plum vinegar is also
那
very
么上
effective.
述达奈和我给大家推荐的在食材里的这些宝贝呢，我们也制作成这样的一个
So we
简单
also
能够
prepare
打印出来
a
的
very
这样的一个
simplified
应该就是一个
poster
什么
that
图
is
卡
easily
好的
downloadable
那大家也可以
and
去
easy for you
我
to
们的
print out.
APP 哈，我们帖文上去下载，
You can print it up and paste it at your fridge, so that when you prepare the meal, you can select them accordingly to incorporate into your daily healthy diet for your family.
那我们自己除了这些就是给大家推荐这种日常的食材料以外呢，我们师父之前也有推出过很多的健康养生。
Masters also introduced some other good drinks. Let's see what others that are available that can help. One is that we have this special drinks, which is very effective to reduce the tree high, the healthy tea recipes. It has the mulberry leaves. You have the gongji is a type of chrysanthemum, dried hortons, American ginsengs, lotus leaf, and consils. The efficacy is effectively reduce the tree high. I also see some messages from our friends, online friends, they have benefited. And also there is also the reduced blood lipids with this cabbage. You can go to the YouTube and this baby cabbage it's very easy to cook and it's very effective to reduce the tree high. I recommend that you give it a try.
还有我们最近给网友们推出来的一个也是一道简单的食材，就是我们的醋泡蒜。
And also recently, we also recommended that we use the vinegar to soak the garlic because it can help to reduce the tree high. And so the nutrients within the garlic will help to reduce the blood sugar, blood lipids, and blood pressure. Next, we want to recommend is the black plum vinegar. We have some online friends. They have drank for a while and they find it very effective. And we even have a sharing. Let's come and listen to the sharings. This is from LA, Liu Yifang, how the black plum vinegar improves her foot cramps. Hello, Master. Starting in 2021, my left legs becomes uncomfortable and difficult to walk. So it was often painful and numbed, and I had to frequent massage day and night. And I couldn't sleep well. Sometimes I tossed and turned, which was very uncomfortable. Later, I attended energy Bagua class, and after the class, my feet no longer feel numb and painful and could sleep better at night. I couldn't bend my little thumb before, but now I could bend it very freely. It's amazing. In the past, it's easy to get cramps every night while sleeping. At night, while lying in bed, about an hour later, my legs and even my toes began to cramp. Especially my left foot was so severe that I couldn't even turn over. So when it cramped, it was really painful. And it was difficult to fall back to sleep due to the cramps. However, when I got the black plum vinegar blessed by Master, I took a small sip before going to bed that night. I slept through the whole night until dawn. No more cramps and slept well. I drank it for 3 days in a row and the cramp completely disappeared. I was so happy to tell my daughter that it helps. I could sleep well. Thank you, Master. Wow. So this not only just reduced the tree high, it also reduced the cramp. I think it got to do with the cramps caused by blockage or embolism tide. First, when she consumed the black plum vinegar, it helped to soften the blood vessels. I think there are some clot at the blood vessels. So this is very effective.
对，因为这个乌梅醋呢，会在那个新加坡一个学院，他就上次跟我聊天就说哈，
someone shared with me that
我看他是什么问题哈，他用了乌梅醋之后，我脑子一空哈，他什么问题？我突然间忘记了一下。
也是跟血管类的相关。
对，我一会儿想起来再说他那个。
Well, maybe later when I remember, I will share that.
是打通你的这个血管。
I think it helps to clear
像他那个，对了，他过去那个肝指数啊，他那个肝指数就是尤其是这个血脂，和血糖，都高到了。
The person has very high blood lipid and blood sugar.
应该说算是肝硬化，或者是肝癌。
The doctor says that if we continue, you're going to have a liver cancer.
他呢，到当时新加坡禅堂啊，给人要了好几瓶，拿回去存着喝。
So for her, what happened is that during that time, the Singapore Meditation Center, they have a few of them for people to share. So the person drank for about a year, roughly a year. The person felt that the skin becomes better. So the insomnia disappears, the hair doesn't drop anymore.
都检查一下吧，就他那个肝指数哈，完全正常。
And after that, went for checkup.
但是他也没走八卦，
liver,
他也没好好练功，
it's good.
因为他那个工作压力特别大。 每天工作10几个小时。
But she didn't really practice a lot because her work stress is very heavy. All she did was just to consume
对对对对。
the black
我们在接下来我们
plum vinegar.
各个禅堂哈，可能会制作乌梅醋。
I think going forward, all our centers will start to produce some black plum vinegar.
会赠送你一瓶哈。
So if you're good, we may even give you a free bottle.
在地禅堂哈，可能会送给你这个东西。
师傅要给大家送礼物。
So Master is going to give presents for all again.
我们给洛杉矶这位师姐是吧？
So shall we give her a prize?
送礼物，这个你看又细又小
So look at this. This is so beautiful.
哎呀，这些师姐们戴可美了哈，戴在手
Dharma
腕。
sister, when you wear
真
this,
正的宝石哈。
it looks beautiful.
好，祝洛杉矶的刘玉芳师姐
Wishing Liu Yifang
健康长寿
health and longevities,
幸福吉祥。
and happiness and auspiciousness. Thank you, Master.
师傅，那接下来跟您还有网友，我们再来讲一讲哈，我们来预防血栓有一些生活小习惯，我们来。
So maybe we talk about how we can actually help to have healthy habits to prevent this. I think most importantly first is that you want to get moving. Avoid sitting for a long period of times or staying in a positions for a long period of time.
就是小腿你又肿胀，很容易形成血栓。所以我们比方说，在办公室里长期开会。
Say for example, if you're working in the office and you have meetings for extended period of time, you must stand up and move around, say every 1 to 2 hours. Or you can even exercise your legs while seated, like raise and lower your heels while keeping your toes on the floor. Or stretch your feet and hook them to enhance blood circulations to prevent blood clots.
加速血液循环，促进了静脉血的回流，这样可以预防血栓性。
So these will help as a preventive care.
就在桌子底下动动我的脚，这样也可以预防血栓。做一个健康的这种保健操啊。
So the other thing is that you can have some light exercise.
也给大家推荐一些轻运动，就是能够有氧运动。
And some of these exercise can increase the heart rate, increase the pump speed, and help to speed up the blood circulations. You can do energy Bagua aerobics, or you can walk quickly. This will help your heart to pump faster, or jogging, swimming, cycling. These are very relaxed exercise.
就不太剧烈的。
对对对，尤其是说那个老年人呢，要尤其注意自己的心率不要升得那么高，就是有一个。
Especially if you reach a certain age, you want to make sure that you do not want your heart to pump too fast. You want to pump at a moderate speed. So you want to do it such that maybe do like 30 minutes each time, at least 5 times a week. And after exercise, the heart rate plus your age should not be greater than 170. So the optimum state of exercise is when the body is slightly sweating, you do not feel tired, and you still feel relaxed after exercise.
然后运动过后呢，觉得哎身体反而轻松了，但是不要感到特别疲累的那个感觉，那可能就是你太过于劳累。
So if you feel tired after the exercise, maybe it's too excessively. So it's important for you to pick the right exercise for yourself.
对，是，特别是我们后面哈在会见证里会跟大家讲到哈，有一个患者，他也是。就是应该说求好心切吧，希望在恢复过程中尽快的运动。
And later we will have a sharing of someone who wanted to exercise in order to have a speed, to show more effect, but in the end, it actually not as good. Or the other thing you want to do is you want to constantly you can pat your body, or you can pat some meridian point.
特别胀麻啊肿。还有痛酸都有，那这个时候呢，我们可以揉一揉我们的小腿。
So if your legs is very painful, you may want to gently massage certain point of your legs.
视频对。
We actually have the videos that you can follow,
记住一些比较重要的穴位
and you want to remember some important meridian points, and you want to massage those meridian points to relax your legs.
对，还有一招就是特别对于那个就是帮助我们促进血液循环，而且是一个非常
And we have another method.
方法呢，就是泡脚。
It is very effective. That is foot soaking.
泡脚有很多对。
There are many methods, and we do have a Bodhi foot soaking method as well. So when we soak our foot, it expands the blood vessels in the feet and promote blood circulations in the lower limbs.
所以这个方法也是对于就是预防血栓、预防心脑血管疾病呢一个特别好的一个就是。
So it's definitely help to promote blood circulations and activate the blood circulations and remove the blood stasis.
查出来有严重的静脉血栓的患者呢，就是不建议用过高的水温。
But if a person already is a diabetic patient, or they already have existing conditions, you just want to make sure that the water temperature is not too high.
所以它可能对水温的这个感测呢不是那么的准确，所以呢一定要就是比如说最保险的
To be on the safe side, you want to use a thermometer to measure it, to make sure that it's not too hot and burn yourself.
已经有静脉血栓比较严重的患者也是要特别注意，因为如果是血栓已经
If somebody already have venous thrombosis, you also want to make sure that the temperature of the water is not too high. Otherwise, too fast blood circulations may be bad. So we talk about all these good habits to have. Master has taught many methods to us. How we can help to solve some of the problems that we have. But generally speaking, you want to watch your diet. You should avoid taking high sugar food, or fried food, or oily food, or barbecue related food, or drink alcohol, or take a lot of instant noodles.
引发这些疾病啊。对，其实这个病呢，确实是不容易恢复。
Actually, once you have this disease, it's difficult to recover.
现在国外的各种媒体呀
，Actually, a lot of
新加坡呀，各个媒体上总是看到一些比较年轻
in
的
the
知名
media.
人士，因为不知名他也不刊登你啊。
是。
哎，尤其是一些明星类的
We know some
明星企业
artists
家之类的，就是
or
就是这
even
个
some
问题倒下去的。
scientists,
我记得2年前台湾有一位很
they
帅
died
的一个
because of
明
this.
星哈，他就去世死在自己的洗手间里了。
I remembered in
30多岁
Taiwan about 2 years
马
ago,
来西亚
there was
我
also
看到
an
一个新闻
artist
那个
that died
他是只有
in his
51
own
岁
collapsed in his own
就去
toilet
世了，也
because
是
of this
虽
disease.
然做过手术哈，
In
就这个
Malaysia,
病
there was a similar
就
incident
第二
as
次这个
well.
病又来了，倒了。
So
就
for
没
that
走
person, he had the first
啊，所以
operation,
是
he
很不容
recovered,
易
and
啊，
then
所以这是一个
he
很
had
危险的
another
东西。所以呢，我
time
们
of
当
that,
如果身体稍
and
觉
he
得
died for that.
身体上有点肉啊，或者有时候有一些那些感觉，
So if you
记得
start to
我
feel
们
it,
第一堂课讲到的，你在手呢，在腿脚
I
上
taught
按
you
的时
during
候，
the first
一按
lessons,
下去，
is that
一
you
个坑
press at a certain
是吧？
point in the
10
body,
几秒都弹不起来。
and if
你
you
说
find
只要
that
是6秒
the
弹
area
不
that
起
you
来，这就
press,
是危
it
险
takes
的。
more than 6
所以的话，
seconds
非常
for
非
for
常
it
凶
to
险，
bounce back.
也包括你的手脚有的时候出现麻木、
So
发麻，
it
舌
may
尖
be a
发麻，
sign.
那这些都是问题
Or if you
啊。
feel numbness
那么其他讲到
at
的
your
比这更
limbs,
重的，像阳
that
痿
can
3
be a
把刀
sign
那个
as
表
well.
现就更重了，这个问题哈。
We also
这
talk
是危
about
险
the
中的
3
危险。
signs of cardiovascular disease.
我也是在研
You
究和
also
思
want
考
to
说
watch
这个
out.
东西到底有没有更有效果的东西呢？
I also try to
请听下
understand
面的
are there
分享。
better methods
是的，是
to
的，
resolve this.
是哈，我们其实也一直都
So
想
let's do
在
the
寻找是
testimonial
还有更
next.
安全的一种啊，
Yes,
应该说
Master,
有
we
对
want to
治的
see
这
if
种
there are the
方法
methods
哈，真的是有一种
they are
对
more
治的方法
effective
啊，所
to
以呢，
help
其
with
实
this.
我们也是在我们啊菩提禅修啊很多健身班呐，
So
八
actually
卦
in
内
Bodhi
功基础班
meditations,
啊，我们在
in
这些
many
班
of our
课程的
class,
学员分
like
享当
the
中
health
听
and
到了
fitness
很多
class
故事
or
说，
energy
诶，
Bagua
他们
class,
经过了
we
禅修，
gather a
或
lot
者
of
是上了那个
testimonials,
八卦
how
内功的
people
课程以后，
benefited
走八卦一
through
段时
attending
间
the
以后，
class
自己
or
原来
through
比
their
方
energy
说
Bagua
已经有血
practice.
栓的。这个很明显是什么呢？他说我是一个中风病人啊，那你中风病人就是已经有血栓
And
了
some,
哈，
for
哎，
example,
或者这
someone
样
who
的
came
情
and
形，
shared that
他
I'm
们
a
作为
stroke
这样的
patient,
病人，
the
可以
fact that
很
you had
快
stroke
的
before,
神
it
奇的就
represents,
恢
it
复了
means
健
that
康
you
了。
already
所
have
以呢，我们也给
such
李师
problems.
傅还有给我们的网友们来分享这些学员们，看他们的受益，
So we
就
like
能
to
知
share
道
some
通过
benefits
练习
of our
禅修
students.
或者是八卦内功，对
Maybe
于
it's through Bodhi
应该
meditations
说
or
这
through
是
energy
对治
Bagua.
血栓啊各类疾病，多么的神奇和有效。
So some
啊
of them are very
好，第一个我们
amazing
先
and
来看一
interesting.
下台北的台
First,
湾的新北
we want
啊
to see
谢
that
永
someone
贤
from
师姐给我们带来的她的见证分享，
Taiwan, New
走八
Taipei,
卦40年严重的
how
静脉曲张
the-
消失了。
how it helped her.
我叫谢永贤
Hello,
今年
Master.
83岁
I'm 83 this
我来
year.
自台湾新北
I'm
我
from
30几
Taiwan,
岁
New
就有静脉
Taipei.
曲张的问题
When I was in my
很严重
30s,
两只腿都
I
有
started to
又
have
密
serious
密麻麻
varicose
好像
veins
蚯
in my
蚓一样
calves.
而且
And when I
走
pull out
路
my
上还有
pants,
脚麻
all I could
医
see
生
was
说要
dents
开
of
刀
wound
把
lines.
它那个血管拉直
So
就
my
是没有
legs
开
looks
刀
like they
永
were
远不
covered
好
with countless
我
fat
很
of
害怕
wounds.
就不要就是
So it
放
was
弃
very shocking.
我70多岁就膝盖有退化性
And
关节
in
炎
addition, I've
非常
suffered
的
from
痛
degenerative
哦真
arthritis
很
since
痛
I was
很痛
70 years old.
不能蹲弯
So
下
I
去
had to
蹲
get
下去
injections for
哦
both legs
痛得
and
呱
knees.
呱叫我去打
And
那
it
个
was so
玻尿
painful.
酸打了3年1
I
年
had
要打
the
3剂
injections
药
for
性
3
过了
years.
又
But every time
不见好
after the
我在
medicines wear off,
2019的
the
秋
pains
天
comes
朋友
back.
介绍我去重
And
庆公
later,
园八卦
a
点
friend
做八卦
introduced me to
我走
energy
了1个多
Bagua.
月
I
有
practiced
一
for
天
about a
去
month.
洗手间
The pain in my
哎
knee
我
joint
怎么可以蹲下来
disappears.
了？我都很
I
高兴了，
could
我跟店长
actually
说，
kneel
店长
down.
可以蹲下去了。现在通通都好
And
了
now
可以
everything
行
is
动自
fine.
如
I can move
我
very
做八
comfortably.
卦做了1年多，有
And
一
I
天
practiced energy
晚上
Bagua
洗
for
澡
about a year. I took a shower and I looked down, and then I found that the varicose veins were completely gone. I was so surprised at the moment. I can't believe that energy Bagua actually helped to repair my veins, and I don't need to do operations anymore. So I have all these serious problems, but because of energy Bagua, I got my health back. I'm so grateful to Master. So she's 83 years old. She looks really young. And she has 40 years of varicose veins, swelling and heavy walking. And they are like earthworms crawling. I think for her, when she walks, it's quite tough. And she also has more than 10 years of degenerative arthritis. And she was not able to bend her knee. So after doing energy Bagua for about a month, she felt that the pain in the knees disappears. She mentioned that before that, it was so painful. After a month, she felt that she could bend and she could even kneel down easily. So the joint pain disappears. It is so effective, it's only a month. Even herself says that it's a miracle. Actually, our energy Bagua is very, very effective. And not only that, the 40 years of varicose vein, after practicing energy Bagua, it was actually, she didn't really notice it. It's only once when she was showering, and she realized that the earthworm's veins disappears. They become much smoother than before. You can't even have sight of the varicose veins. Very effective. There's no other medicine that you can treat it. She's just lucky. Through the practice of energy Bagua, she managed to get her health back. So we have energy Bagua t-shirt for her, wishing her health, longevity, and auspiciousness. So with the practice of energy Bagua, you can live a long time. Next, we have someone from Korea that'd like to share the story with us. Let's hear her story. Hello, Master. I'm Lin Jinghua from Daling Meditation Center in South Korea. In April 2022, for a period, I dreamt of my deceased mother for almost every night, saying that she would take me away. This made me very scared and couldn't sleep or eat well. And after that, a series of serious illnesses suddenly appeared in my body. My right legs began to swell and hurt all the time, making me feel worse than death. In addition to the pain, it made me very difficult to walk. I always felt like I couldn't step on the ground, and I often felt like I was stepping on the ground. To make it worse, I also have arthritis in the knee on my right legs, which prevented me from bending and walking normally. So the moment I sit down, there'll be severe pain in my waist, the legs, and I have to keep moving and changing positions. I couldn't bear it anymore, so I went to the hospital for a checkup. As soon as the doctor saw my examination report, he told me that I must be hospitalized immediately. Otherwise, my life would be in danger. So the doctor said that I had a blood clot on my right legs and was worried that it might move to my lungs. So they asked me to undergo an emergency blood vessels unblocking surgery. After operations, the doctor took a CT scan for me, and the doctor said it's a little late. A small black spot has already reached your lungs, and if you come here a few days later, you will be dead. When I heard this, it really scared me. I never thought of the problems. It can be that serious. The doctor also tested me for diabetes and my blood sugar was high as 22. So I took 16 injections of insulin before it drops to 11. After the surgery, the swelling in my calf decreased a bit, but the doctor asked me to take thrombolytic drugs every day to prevent thrombosis. But because I was taking the thrombolytic drugs, I couldn't get the injections because I was worried about excessive bleedings and make it difficult for the wound to heal. So I could only endure the pain in my knee joint and could not take pain-killing injections. Later, I couldn't continue to take insulin to control my blood sugar. The sudden attacks of various diseases caused me great pain. So after discharge from the hospital, I could only lie down in bed without strength. I didn't want to live like that, so I started to practice hard. In addition to sleeping, eating, I basically practiced every day. I practiced about 14 to 16 hours doing energy Bagua, grid eliminations, do chanting, and recite the Earth Store Bodhisattva Sutra. Then my body begins to recover slowly. And after I practiced for 3 months, my body no longer felt so uncomfortable. So I decided to go back to Darling Meditation Center for classes. So I described my situations to the teacher, and she suggested that I do prostration. It was quite hard at first. I could only persist for 30 times. However, the effect was very good after 2 days of prostrations. My blood sugars dropped and within a normal range, and it was still like that. So immediately after that, I signed up for basic energy Bagua class. Before, it was difficult for me to walk and my body felt heavy and stiff. But on the 5th day of the course, I found that I could bend down, lift my knees, and climb stairs with no problems. After that, I was fortunate enough to participate in a fitness class taught by Master personally. I used to suffer from insomnia and wake up easily at night. However, I slept very soundly on the first night of the class. By the 4th day, I could basically participate in a full-day class with my legs crossed, and there was no discomfort or pain in my knees and waist. After the course was completed, I felt that my breathing was particularly smooth and comfortable. So I went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor took a CT scan for me and told me that, to my surprise, that the blood clot in my lungs has completely disappeared. This is incredible, and the doctor was very surprised. The doctor said that if everything is normal again during the next checkup, I don't need to take the thrombolytic drugs anymore. And I know this is because of blessings of masters, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas. Thank you for giving me a new lease of life.
这个师姐，哇，这听得我都有点害怕，这是病来的太突然，也太凶猛了。
For her, she has this sudden illness.
只是腿肿，然后后来变成
Originally, it was just numbness, and then it was a knee joint arthritis, and then she even have a black spots going to the lungs, a clot to the lungs.
就不知道该怎么形容。
就她那个血糖也太高了。
The blood sugar is too high for her.
啊，那神经受得了啊？
嗯，对。
对，在这些病里面啊，其实觉得直接危害他生命的，可能就是那个肺栓塞了。
对，医生
I think the one that is causing her the higher risk is the black spot in her lungs.
还是晚了一点。他说已经有一块移到你的肺上去，堵在那里。
Because the doctor says that it has already reached the lungs.
但是就我们其实上一次直播我们学到了这个。
Actually, during the last broadcast, we learned about this.
在凝结，这个被堵住的肺部的血管会越来越大，会造成肺的衰竭，坏死了。
We know that if this clot continues to persist there, it can actually cause the lungs to fail, and it will be death as an eventual outcome. So when she knew this, she then started to practice diligently. She practiced for 14 to 16 hours, and she used that as a method But if you look at her conditions, because of her conditions, she need to, because of a thrombosis, she needs to take thrombolytic drugs. But because of that, it affected her ability to take insulin. Yes, because the drugs prevent clotting. And if she has to take the injections, you'll not be able to clot. So there's one part that the medicines doesn't allow the blood to clot, and there's a part that she needs to take the insulin. What happens? Remember, you remember she mentioned that it all started because she continuously dreamt of her deceased mother. So, friends, if you have dreams of your deceased loved ones or relatives that want to take you, it is actually very dangerous. And as after that, she has 4 very deadly diseases that comes together. And that's why she practiced diligently. She became scared and practiced diligently. She practiced for 14 to 16 hours a day. And that's why it became effective. So after 2 months of practice, her blood sugar dropped to 6.7. That is very close to normal range, which is at 6.1. So before meditation was at 22, and after practicing meditation for 2 months, it dropped to 6.7, and the normal level is at 6.1.
很多关节的疼痛，开始做的时候呢，也是特别的辛苦，但她仅做了2天，她血糖就直接正常了。
So she went for the meditation class, and that helps her further. Actually, I taught you the prostrations. You look at this, you may think that it's a religious practice. It is very effective. It's very effective for a lot of disease. It helps with your whole body, your structures, your bone structures, especially for people who deliver a baby. But you want to make sure that after 100 days of delivery, then you can start practicing it. It helps to adjust your spine. A lot with spinal problems, practice prostration is very good. And even high blood pressure. Even better is it help to enhance your wisdom. It is very simple. And it's also very effective. And after that, she practiced energy Bagua class. And after the class, all the joint problems disappears. She can bend easily. She can lift her legs. She can climb the stairs freely. Some of you may not understand at the Darling Center there, the subway there is actually quite several flights of stairs. It is not easy to climb, but for her, after that she could climb easily. I think what's really more interesting, what's more miracles, is that she joined the health and happiness retreat that's conducted by my master, and she was able to breathe freely after the class. So she went to see the doctor to see what happened. And when the doctor took a CT scan and told her that the blood clot in the lungs had completely disappeared. This was a miracle, and even the doctor was very surprised. So she really healed through the practice. So our energy Bagua, our prostrations, master blessings, the meditation and great eliminations are great methods of practice. So she's just lucky. So because she's lucky, she will have great fortune. So we have a prize for her. She's fortunate to have met Master. So we have a very good T-shirts. Medicine Buddha. These T-shirts. To protect Dharma sisters' health, longevity. Thank you, Master. Next, we have a sharing from Malaysia, Ipoh. And she had. So her story is very exciting. In 2017, there was a period where I ate very salty fried chickens with my friends for almost every day. So about 2 months later, at the age of 49, I was found to have very severe high blood pressure. So that's at 170/118. The normal blood pressure is at 120 and 80. At first, I didn't care, and I never took antihypertensive medications. And one early morning in October 2020, I suddenly vomited. So at dawn, I went to the clinic to see a doctor. And when measured my blood pressure, I was shocked that it was as high as 230 and 120. Where the doctor gave me a very powerful antihypertensive drugs. And my blood pressure dropped to 150/90. But in the afternoon, my teeth were locked together and my mouth was very stiff. The doctors at the clinic couldn't pry it open, so he quickly called the ambulance and sent me to the hospital. So I was in the intensive care unit at the hospital. So the doctor took my blood pressure again, and unexpectedly, in a short period of time, it went up to 180 and 110. At the same time, the doctor also took an X-ray and found that there was a blood clot blocking the middle of the back of my head, causing a stroke. So the doctor had no choice but to prescribe very powerful antihypertensive drugs for me. However, even though I took one powerful drugs every day, my blood pressure still did not drop. From then on, I couldn't speak, and I could only eat some liquid food through my throat. My whole body became stiff and weak, and I couldn't move at all. I was like a vegetative person lying on bed. Every time I get out of bed, I needed 5 people to lift me into a wheelchair. My 70-year-old mother had to take care of me for all my food and daily living. Seeing myself like this and seeing my mother working so hard made me feel very extremely desperate. I don't know why I want to live. My mother was getting older and was really unable to take care of me, so she had no choice but to send me to a nursing home. In the nursing home, I was still lying in a wheelchair and eating liquid fruit through a tube inserted into my throat. I can only walk with a 4-corner clutch every day, dragging my feet on the ground and limping slowly. I can't control my walking and can't stop unless I'm pulled by someone or bumped into something. I couldn't get off the crutches at all, or I would fall. For the next 9 months, I made very little progress until I encountered energy Bagua. In August 2021, through my mom's recommendation, I started to practice energy Bagua every day. At first, I needed my mom to protect me and hold me up from time to time so that I could limp and drag my feet and walk slowly. So I would have to stop and rest for 15 minutes after walking around. After practicing energy Bagua for 2 months, my stroke symptoms were greatly improved. Although I still limped when walking, I had strength over my body. I could raise my feet and walk energy Bagua 3 times in a row before resting for 15 minutes. What made me happiest is that I don't need my mother's support or crutches. I won't fall when I walk, and I can stop by myself. Also, I can finally speak, eat like a normal person, and no longer rely on liquid food. From that moment, my hands could stretch freely, and I could hold a pen and write. I used to have cold hands due to stroke, but after practicing energy Bagua for 2 months, my hands became warmer. After 5 months, I can walk for 1 hour continuously doing energy Bagua. Half an hour later, I no longer limp and walk at the same speed as a normal person. One thing that made me very happy is that I have a very stubborn high blood pressure. Before, I could only control my blood pressure to about 180/110 when taking one powerful antihypertensive drugs every day. However, after half a year of practice, my blood pressure dropped to 120/90, which is the normal value. It's really incredible. So the doctor switched my powerful blood pressure medications to a regular one. But my blood pressure remained within the normal range. From that time on, my mother finally allowed me to drive and ride a bicycle, and I could also run and jump. This was something I couldn't do before and couldn't even imagine. I'm very grateful to Master and Energy Bagua to help to give me a new life. That's from Ipoh. Liu Yongchen. She was only 49 when he had that disease. Just by eating very salty fried chicken for 2 months. Just 2 months. And had this high blood pressure.
低压就是别人的高压，对，人家是高压120，他是低压就120，天哪，这太可怕了。
That's really scary, her level.
一开始也没有太当回事啊。
Initially, he didn't take it too seriously.
结果过了1-2年之后，
and after about 1-2 years later, she suddenly vomited in the morning. And when she went to see the doctor, it was as high as 230/120. That's really scary. And the doctor quickly prescribed him a very powerful antihypertensive drugs. So it drops to 150/90, but it's still above the normal level. But in the afternoon, the teeth were locked together and the mouth was very stiff. So they called ambulance to send to the hospital. And during that time, the doctor gave him another blood pressure test. And unexpectedly, in a short period of time, the blood pressure went up to 180/110. And that's when the doctor took an x-ray and found that there was a blood clot blocking the middle of the back of the head, causing a stroke. He couldn't speak. He needed to be tubed. He needed to feed through a tube. So he can slightly open his mouth, but he could not take his food. So he couldn't get up. So the only thing he could do is rely on the mom, which is 70 years old. So because the mom was getting older and was unable to take care of him, so she had no choice but to send him to a nursing home. And he can only walk with a 4-corner clutch every day.
他说需要被人拉住，或者他自己撞上什么东西才会停下来。 这太辛苦了。
这人就废了。
Well, basically, it's like handicapped.
废了。
就是废了。
而且就是这样的状况一直持续了9个月。
And this condition persisted for 9 months.
其实让他的心情特别应该说挺绝望的了。直到他
I think she probably felt very helpless.
那是妈妈在带他来了，走了八卦内功。好，我们看一开始他走八卦内功还是挺辛苦的哈。
Actually, after that, she encountered energy Bagua. At the beginning, it was quite difficult for her. Every round, she had to rest for 15 minutes. But what's the effect? Let's look at it. After 2 months, the change is that she started to feel her strength come back. She could lift the legs up, and he could walk 3 times in a row before resting. The happiest thing is that he don't need mom's support anymore or even crutches. He could walk by himself without falling down. And then he could finally speak. And he could eat like a normal person, no longer relied on liquid food. That's a great change. So his hands could stretch freely, and he could hold a pen and write. Because of his stroke, he has cold hands due to stroke, right? But after practicing energy Bagua for 2 months, his hands became warmer. And 5 months later, he could walk for 1 hour continuously. And half year later, he no longer limped and walked at the same speed as a normal person. Wow, after 180 days, it's amazing. So all the symptoms of stroke greatly reduced. And in his heart, he knows that he is on the path of recovery. And let's look at the high blood pressure. Before that, he needed to take a very powerful antihypertensive drugs every day to manage his blood pressure. But after half year of practicing energy Bagua, his blood pressure dropped to 120/90, which is the normal level. So he's basically back to normal. So it's at the normal level. So I think I would say that it's a very incredible that energy Bagua had helped him to gain his health back. So he's full of gratitude to Master. I'm very happy for him. That's a good sharing. So now he could even drive, he could cycle, and he could even run and jump easily. This was something that he couldn't do before. He can now work. Congratulations. So we have a prize for you. I have a very small. What is this? This is agate crafted. I'm going to give you 3. So you're going to put them together and wear. It helps to ward off evil as well. And I have this agate, very beautiful yellow bracelet. You wear it and you will ward off evil. Wishing you health, longevity, and auspiciousness. Thank you, Master. So we have another sharing. He practiced meditations of great illuminations and help in stroke conditions. Hello, Master. I'm from Baoling Meditation Center. In 2023, June 1st, my neck suddenly became stiff and tight, and my left hand became numbed. I was very tired. Later, I took a nap for about an hour. When I woke up, I found that my left hand and left legs were soft and weak. I was afraid to move because I felt dizzy and about to vomit. So my wife rushed me to the University of Malaya Hospital, and the doctor did a test, eye test, hands and foot reflexes, blood tests and blood pressure checks. After he did the test, he confirmed that I had a minor stroke. My blood pressure, blood sugars and cholesterol were all normal, so the doctors couldn't prescribe me any medicine and discharged me from the hospital the next day. After that, they arranged for me to undergo a MRI and a heart test. So it was confirmed that the capillaries in my right brain was blocked by a blood clot, which caused the stroke. The doctors hasn't been able to figure out what caused the blockage of the microvessels in the brain. Because my heart, blood vessels, blood pressure and cholesterol are all normal, I have feelings in my arms and legs. The morning after I was discharged from the hospital, my shoulder became stiffer and I felt dizzy. And I drew uncontrollably, and it took a lot of effort to open my left eyes. And my left hands were weak and hang down to my thigh and knee, unable to lift up at all. So my left foot was weak and was dragged my feet step by step and moved very slowly. I couldn't shower or get dressed, and I needed help from my family. I was very anxious and worried that I would not recover. So I immediately went to see a doctor, and the doctor told me that there was no need for medications. I would also break into cold sweats with no reasons and feel very weak. I saw a Chinese physician again. The Chinese physicians diagnosed me as stroke, and I have a severe coldness in my body. So they gave me acupuncture to smooth my blood circulations, and I take the traditional Chinese medicines to regulate my situations. After the treatment, my left hand could be lifted up to my abdomen, my left foot a little bit stronger than before, but the rest of the symptoms hasn't improved. So I attended an 8.5-day fitness class at Baoling Center. On the 8 days of the class, my stiff shoulders were much relieved, my dizziness was gone, and my body relaxed. After completing the course, I was able to walk normally without the use of crutches, and I practiced the meditations of great eliminations for 1 to 2 hours every day at home. Gradually, I can lift my left hand to my chest, open my eyes, and my legs became strong. And I participated in another fitness class. On the 5th day of the class, my left hand could already lift to my shoulder. On the day I graduated from the course, I was able to raise my left hand above my head and stay there for 1 to 2 minutes. As Grandmaster said, I will continue to practice. So, on July 17, I participated in the 7 days of MGI group practice organized by Baoling Center. After 7 days, my body movements were at least 90% restored and no longer drew. What made me very happy is that I was able to return to my job. I was very grateful to Grandmaster for teaching me such a good method, and I know that if I continue to practice, I will firmly recover. She's only 44 years old. That's very young. And there's no tree high, and an unexplained blood clots, and stroke. And there's no numbness. So don't even know where the clot comes from. Actually, even emotion can cause blood clots. Because when you have anger, from the heart will go to the brains. And when you have qi rushing out, when it's very strong, it will cause blood clots. This is my understanding. Once you're angry, the blood pressure will just shoot up. And that's why it will cause blood clot. So this is a very, very serious illness.
不过好在他也是一个我觉得蛮有运气的一
But
个
I think
人
he's a lucky person.
立刻就后来就是找到了我们的保龄
Immediately, he was
禅堂
able
就
to
开
chance
始上了
upon
健身
Bodhi
班，开始
Meditation
禅修
Center
的修行了。
and started his practice.
他之后就是因为参加课程呢，就首先他那个身体僵硬就改善了很
So
多
the first
然后
time when
原
he
来的晕
attended the
眩也
class,
没有了
the
所以
stiffness
这两个就给他
reduced.
解决了很大的一部分的
So
问
that
题
helps him a
然后
lot.
而且他之前原来就是需要靠拐杖行走啊
Before
参加
that,
完第一
he
个
need
班
to
之后就可以
rely
正
on
常走
crutches.
路了就把拐杖
And
给
after
丢掉
the
了
completed the first
对
class,
然
he
后
doesn't
后来
need the
因为
crutches
他也
anymore
是左边身体麻痹嘛所以呢
because
他
he has
是
numbness on the
那个
left.
手还是有点僵硬
So
就是
his
第一个
left
健
hand is
身
still a
班之
little bit
后
stiff.
后来呢又参加了一个健身
So
班
he
那这
continued
个
with
健
the
身班呢
next
就帮助
fitness
他
class.
的手臂呢就慢慢的
So
从
that
比如
helped
说
him
刚
to
开始能踢
release
到腹部
to he
哎
was
再到
able
了第
to
五天时候
lift
能踢
his
到
left
胸口
arms.
然后到了结业时候呢他就可以正常的
And on the 7 days, it's back to normal. The body movements were pretty much restored.
每一天他都有巨大的
So
改
every
变
day, there was a
然后
significant
又
change
参加了我们的
to
共
him.
修之后呢他整体的情况恢复了这90%多 基
I
本上
think
就是
at
正
the
常
end
都
is
已
like
经回去工作
after
了
is
对
about 90% restored, and he could go for return to his job in August. So
对
within 2
回
months,
去工作了
he
对
was able to return to work just within 2 months.
效果太神奇了
This
多
is
亏
too
了师父的
fast.
大光明
So Master's meditations of great eliminations is so effective.
然后我通过了练习这个大光明修持法哈，我们禅修的这个课程，它也是一个课程接着一个课程上，也让他
So for
快
him,
速地
he
从这个急中
continuously
风的状态
participated
中
in
康复
lessons,
起来
classes after
但是
classes.
我还是想提醒一下我们的这位年轻的网友叫
But I
陈
want to
德全
remind
哈
him
就是我还是希望啊，就是因为这个中风这个问题吧，
because
可
you
能
do
也
have
会是
stroke.
你的健康的一个隐患。虽然现在你自己感觉
Although
好
you
像
feel
都已
that
经
you
好
have
了，
recovered,
但是为了保持的这个健康状态，
but
健
for
康的
you to
状态在
ensure
保持
that
时间
you
的
have
话，你
continuous
一
health,
定还是要坚持修行。
you want to
练习
persist
大光
in
明
your
或者
cultivations.
再加上八卦内
If
功
you
的修
can
炼，
continue to
才能够
practice the
保证你
meditations
现在
of
又
great
到工作岗
eliminations,
位
and
上以
if you
后，
can add
你
on
的身
energy
体健
Bagua,
康还
I'm
能
sure
够
it'll be
维持。
beneficial for you.
千万不要操之过急呀、如果操之过急，其实还是身体不堪重荷，很负劳累的话，还是会有很大的
So
隐
although
患
your
的
body has
因为
somehow
毕竟这一次
recovered,
发病
but you don't
医
want
生来说
to
也
be
叫
too
不明来
tired.
历
You want to manage it
所以特别提
gradually
醒您哈。
and make sure that you continue with your practice.
那我呢，先恭喜哈。
I think
您
first,
德
I just
全
want to
先生哈
congratulate you
那
for
我
gaining your health
我还
back.
是会担心你的啊。就是有时候呢，这个病往那儿走了哈，好了，但是有没有一天再找回来呢？不知道。
So although it may seem like the illness have departed you, but will it come back to you? Not sure.
为了预防呢，
But for preventive care,
3个啊，你看，带
I
有
have
蓝色玛
3
瑙雕刻的
very
小
the
金刚
blessed
结啊，
agate,
最后把它拿绳呢穿起来，
and you
三
can
个
put
穿在一
these
起
3
挂在脖子
together
上
and
来
wear,
避开这个邪气啊。
make it into a
然后再
necklace,
送你一
and
个
you
这
can
个
ward off
送你一
negative
件
energies.
八卦衫
And I
啊
also have an energy
对
Bagua
那你
t-shirts
呢
for you.
最好别停下来这个走八卦哈。一
I
天
hope
最少
that
1
you
个
will
小时
continue
哈
with energy Bagua practice.
这样的话就可能能保证你这个旧病不复发。
If you
啊
do, then at least you will
但
ensure
是
that your
祝福
illness
你
will not
健康
come
长
back to you
寿
again, wishing you health,
如意吉
longevity,
祥。
收到
and
感恩师父
auspiciousness.
师父的加持啊。好，接下来我们还有一位来自于洛杉矶的韩
We have
喜
another sharings
他也
from
给我们带来
LA,
他的故事
Han Si.
2次中风
He had
后
2
八卦
strokes,
康复了。
and through a practice
我
of
叫
energy
韩喜
Bagua, he
今年
recovered.
54岁，移民来
Hello,
美国
Master.
20
I'm
几年
Han
后
Si.
来到了美国，我
And
的荒唐人生由此开始。长期的酒色财气
After I moved
烟
to
瘾
the
酒
US,
瘾毒瘾
I
甚至把
have a
所有
lot
的
of bad
财产
habits,
都送给了赌场，
and I
家庭也
even
毁了，
destroyed
人
my
也
family.
病倒了。2022年4
In
月中旬，
2022
我第一
April,
次中风，
I had my
当
first stroke.
时我还不
I
知
didn't
道
know
是中
that it
风，
was stroke.
只是感觉
I
身体
just felt
热，
that my body
我微
was
微出
hot.
汗，
and I was perspiring. But I was so weak that I couldn't even hold an empty cup. My body was tilting towards the left. The doctor checked and said that I have a blood clot in my brains. The doctors prescribed me with medications and asked me to rest at home. But 2 weeks later, I had a second stroke. It came fast and furious, and it was a completely different symptoms. I have massive vomiting, and I felt very giddy. I couldn't walk in a straight line, my vision's blurred, and my left body is completely numbed, couldn't move, and no senses. My left eyeballs couldn't follow the lights and moved, and I kept drooping. I couldn't talk, and my memory dropped significantly. I couldn't even go to the toilet. So completely collapsed, and I felt that my life is coming to an end. I even thought about committing suicide, but I didn't have the courage to do that. When I was lying in the hospital helplessly, I thought of maybe the other method that can help me. So I went onto the internet to search. I was very lucky to come across Energy Bagua and also the testimonial. My sense tell me that this is probably helpful for me. It can actually help to save my life. Subsequently, I went to a rehab hospital and I participated actively into the rehab exercise. At the same time, I tried to push a wheelchair out to the garden and find a tree to practice Energy Bagua. Although at the beginning it was very painful and I don't have the right movements, but after 3 days of practice, I felt that my body could balance better. The doctors and the nurses saw my change. They were very surprised. 10 days later, I was able to walk independently, and the doctor discharged me. When I reached home, I started to practice at the gym, but I find that the more I go to the gym to practice, my muscles tense up. So I went for another MRI, and I find that the spinal, around the neck, the first and the fourth bones, it was quite tough. And if I continue, I'm going to have another stroke. So immediately, I drove all the way to go from my place to Airway Centers. So every day when I go to the meditation center, I postgrade, I offer lights, I practice diligently. I also participated as a volunteer. I joined the various classes and I started Energy Bagua practice. And when I first started Energy Bagua practice, every 2 to 3 minutes, I have to put my hands down and I pad to massage it. After a month, I find that basically I can persist for an hour of practice. I also find that my back and my palms are now full of energy. After 2 months of practice, I completely changed. For example, I could kneel down. And actually, for someone who has stroke, this is almost impossible, because the leg is not able to withstand the body weight. And not only that, we usually feel giddy. 2 months later, I was able to kneel down. My both eyes' visions returned to normal, and my left numbness also started to recover. I stopped drooping. My heart is now full of joy, and this joy is no words that can describe. I'm completely changed. It's like I gained a new lease of life. I felt that my body health gained a lot. I started to work. I also download Grandmaster's apps, and when I go for an overseas business trip, I also watch Master's live broadcast. Thank you, Masters, for your method to allow me to change completely, to allow me to gain health and new confidence in life. Thank you, Master. This is a new student. So he had 2 strokes. Well, stroke is something so unpredictable. Because when you're overseas by yourself, you don't eat well, you don't sleep well. There's a lot of pressure and unhealthy lifestyles, unhealthy habits. These can easily cause strokes. Actually, when he went to the centers, his body health is already in a very serious state. Yes, he mentioned that he felt giddy. He couldn't. His visions improve. His visions is bad, and his left side was numbed. He was also drooling, and he has his memories also deteriorated.
然后呢，其实他那个时候是特别的崩溃的，
And at that point in time, he felt very helpless.
所以在绝望的时候，他上网。
So in the point of helplessness, he went onto the internet and he chanced upon energy Bagua, and through others' testimonial, it gave him some confidence to want to try.
他在医院里啊，师傅。
Actually, in the hospital, he pushed it. He was still in the hospital, and he hasn't learned energy Bagua. He only watched energy Bagua through the YouTube channels, and he started to practice on his own. Now I felt that for people who have stroke, they have to count by day. Every day, the symptoms will reduce. So for him, you can see from his practice, he said that when he first started energy Bagua, it was very difficult. You don't have good positions. But after 3 days, he felt that his balance became better. Even the doctors were surprised by his change. Just 3 days. And that is self-practice. And 10 days later, he could walk independently and he could be discharged from the hospital. I think this is really fast. And he thought after leaving the hospital, the rehab hospital, he wanted to continue his practice. So he first started to go to the gym. But that is what most people would do, is that they think that if you go into the gym to practice, it will help to get the health back. But after practicing for a few days, he find that the neck was, they have movement difficulties. And he became scared and worried. He's scared that he may get a third stroke. So my suggestion is that if you reach a certain age, if you are more than 45 years old, and if you want to exercise, you want to be careful. Try to avoid very strenuous exercise. Well, you may watch the movies that shows that they have very high kung fu, but you must understand that you have reached a certain age and your body will start to degenerate. So you want to avoid doing too strenuous exercise. You just want to maintain your health. And also in terms of picking the exercise method, you want to be extremely careful. First, you try to avoid those very speedy exercise, or those who, or like the pressure, especially for guys. Well, most of the time the guys go to the gym is because they want to build their muscles. But actually when you reach a certain age, you want to avoid that. It may have some negative side effect. For example, weightlifting. You must carry 1,000 kg? No. It's too much stress on your body. For example, if normally you don't go to the gym, but suddenly you go there and you start to run for 35 minutes. And if your heart rate is beyond 135, do you think your heart can withstand that pump? You just remember your age plus the heartbeat not to be more than 170. So the older you are, you want to make sure that you do not want your heart to pump too much. So if you are 70 years old, you want to make sure that your heartbeat not beyond 100. Otherwise, it will be dangerous.
这一下子惊了，就赶紧说好吧好吧，放下吧，别那么逞能了。然后就不辞辛劳。
It is only when that happens he starts to realize that he travels very far, all the way to LA, from the East Coast to the West Coast, to the West Coast Center, to practice, and also becomes a volunteer. He joined various classes.
刚开始走八卦的时候，他是2到3分钟就要放下手，再拍打按摩。
When he first practiced energy bagua, he could only lift his hand up for 2-3 minutes, and then he had to release it and he has to pat it before he could continue.
真的很好，他能感觉自己后背和手掌都有能量了。
But after a month, he found that he was able to persist for 1 hour, and he also found that his back and his palms are full of energy.
难如上青天啊，因为就是腿是不能承受体重的。
And after 2 months, he was able to squat, to kneel down.
好，但是对他来说，2
For
个
him,
腿部他都能够做这个事。
It's difficult to achieve
所以就说明
for stroke patients, but he did it.
很好。
好，然后视力恢复正常了。
And the other thing that he mentions is that his visions improve.
而且也没有口水在外漏的这个现象。
And his drooling also
刚才也给我们演示了他跑步啊
stopped.
还有包括对，很平衡吧，就看上去这个感觉了。
So if you look at him, he's now very balanced when he runs.
就是回到了这个健康的这个状态。
He's back to his normal healthy self.
他现在说我又开始重新恢复了工作。
So he also mentioned that he returned to work again.
他一个新的生命。
I think he really gained his health back.
哪像一个当时都不会走道的人。哎呀，太棒了。
Wow, that's amazing.
咱们常常修炼也就2-3个月吧。
哦，真快，真好。
哎，感恩师傅。
Thank you, Master.
韩喜师兄。
哎，这位韩喜师兄有福哈。
Hansi, you have good fortunes.
送你一件八卦衫。
So I have an energy bagua
让你
shirt
八卦
for
天
you,
天走，
wishing
活
you
到
that you can
99哈。
practice energy bagua every day and live a
再
ripe
送
old
你一
age.
个小手珠哈。
I also have
哎，保佑你呢
beads
出入
for
平
you,
安，出入
Dharma
吉
beads for
祥
you,
平安
wishing
谢谢
you
你
safe and auspiciousness.
安师傅，再跟您分享一个，刚刚老师提的是这位韩师兄是2次中风。
So just now,
的师兄是
Hunt,
3次
Brother
中风
Hunt is 2 times strokes, and we have another one who is 3 times strokes patients.
好，我们来听听他的故事。
Let's hear about his stories. 3 times strokes.
我说师傅好
Hello,
我来
Master.
自台湾嘉义
I'm
我
from
叫林
Jiayi,
张成
Taiwan. My
今
name
年65岁
is Zhang
我的
Chen.
工作是
I'm
给学校
65
的
years
餐
old.
点送
My
是
job
是
is
学
a
校的
school
餐点
meal
运送
delivery.
早上7点先送团膳
I have to
到
do
了
a
晚间
group meals
7、8点
delivery
呢就会
at
和
7
同
a.m.
事喝酒应
And
酬
at 7 or
常常
8
一个
p.m.
晚
I
上呢会
socialize with
喝
my
10 来
colleagues for
罐啤
drinks.
酒偶尔
I
也会
often
喝一点
drink
高粱酒
a dozen
搭配
can
着
of beer
下
one
酒
night
菜
and
呢是炸
occasionally
小鱼干
a
和
little
炸
bit
花生
of
喝
some
到凌晨
wine.
2-3点又去
Then
唱
I
歌
usually
也
take
继续
some
喝
fried
酒
dried
凌晨
fish
4、
and
5
fried
点才回
peanuts.
家
And
在
I
家
went
里
to
休息一
continue
下
sing
7
and
点
drinks
又要
until 2
工
or
作了
3 in the
一个
morning.
礼拜7天中有6天都
I
是这
didn't go
种
home
没有
until
日
4 or
夜之
5 in
分
the
的
morning
生活
and
熬
rest at
夜喝
home.
酒的生活
I had
长
to
达
work again at
10
7
年
o'clock,
这
so
种
there
没
was
有
no
节制
difference
的生活
between
作息
day
同
and
时
night,
失
6 days
去钱
out of
财和
7
健
days a
康
week.
2012年
So
我
this
第一
lasted
次
for 10
中风
years,
当时算是
and
小
in
中风没有
2012,
特
I
别影
suffered
响
my
到
first
肢体
stroke.
活动只
It
是
was
有一些
considered
头
a
晕
minor
头
stroke at
痛
that time.
医
I
生
did
做
not
了全
particularly
身检
affect
查
my
结
physical
果一切正
activities.
常
I
经
just
过
had some
2个星期的
dizziness
住
and
院治
headache.
疗我就出院了
The
出
doctor
院
did
后
a
我
full
还
body
是继续应
examinations,
酬喝酒
and everything
没
was
想到
normal.
我的四肢开始
I
有
was
抽筋儿的
discharged
现
from the
象
hospital after
原
2
本
weeks
是
of
半年抽筋一
hospitalizations,
次到了
and after
2014
I
年
was
一个月
discharged,
就
I
抽筋
continued
2到3
socializing
次
and drinking.
接着就发生了第二次
Unexpectedly, I
中风
started to have cramps in
我
my
感觉
limbs,
到右腿麻
and
木
it used to be
医生也
once
开
every
了
6
防止
months,
心
but by
血管堵塞的
2014,
药
it
每
happened
天
2
只
or
要
3
稍微
times a
的头
month.
晕不舒服我就会
Then
服药
I had my
在出
second
院
stroke,
后的第10
and I
天
felt
我
numbness
开
in
车
my
载
right
家人
legs.
带家
The
人出
doctor
门
prescribed
突
medicine to
然感觉
prevent
到一阵头
cardiovascular
晕但是
obstructions.
我忘了
I
带
would
药
take
出来
medicines every
同
day
时
whenever
我
I
正
felt
在
slightly
走在
dizzy
高
and
速道路上
uncomfortable.
我想踩油
On
门
the
却力
10th
不从
day
心
after being
我拒绝
discharged,
补
I drove
药
my family
但
out,
使
and
尽
suddenly
全
I
身
felt
全
dizzy.
力硬撑
But I
将
forgot to
车
take
子
my
开到了
medicine
家
with
门
me.
前当我
At
想
that
开
time,
门下车
I
时
was walking on the highway and I wanted to step on the accelerator but couldn't. I had a bad feelings. I tried my best to drive the car to the door of my house. When I tried to open the door and get out of the car, my whole body was numbed and I couldn't move. Then my family rushed me to the hospital. And the doctor told me you had a stroke. Unexpectedly, just 10 days after, I was discharged from the hospital and I would suffer a third stroke. It was so severe that my whole body was paralyzed. So my body was numbed and stiff, unable to move. I was in a semi-coma and I couldn't speak. During the 3 months I was hospitalized, I couldn't take care of myself, and my urine was discharged through a urinary tube. So it took me more than half a year to recover after being discharged from hospital. I could barely walk, I could not stand on my feet stably, and I had to use crutches. This lasted for 6 years and caused my body shape to tilt, scoliosis, and difficulty in using my legs and feet, and also not able to walk up and down the stairs. And I couldn't even lift my right legs on my own. So it was quite tough for me. At the same time, even though the urinary cataract was removed after discharge from the hospital, I would still leak urine whenever I sneeze or try to move something. So I went from being the breadwinner of the family to become a burden to the whole family. My family was just like, my wife becomes very uninterested in me, and my children, they're unwilling to spend more money. So I work hard to get my body back. I try acupuncture and I walk about 10,000 steps every day. But my stroke conditions was not improved at all. In March 2023, I came into contact with Energy Bagua. And within 10 minutes of walking, I was completely exhausted. I still finished the 1-hour practice by stopping and walking. The next day, I make up my mind to go out without crutches, and I never use crutches again. So after that, I walk Energy Bagua every day, and I need less and less time to rest. After practicing Bagua for 3 weeks, one day something fell on the ground. I could actually bend my knees and squat down to pick it up. I could also stand on tiptoe and jump with both feet off the ground. What's more amazing is that my right legs can be lifted by itself without any help. After 3 months, I can squat, kneel, bend, stand on tiptoe without any problems. I can walk faster and faster. My right hands and foot were numb due to stroke. I couldn't feel it when I scaled with hot water before. I couldn't turn my right hand over, but after Energy Bagua, my right hand could turn over, and it still hurts when I pinch it. So after 4 months of Energy Bagua, my leakage has improved. Now I'm not afraid of getting my pants wet when I sneeze. Moreover, after practicing Energy Bagua, my rest becomes more normal. I go to bed at night, and I could sleep for 5 to 6 hours and get up at 3 in the morning to do Bagua. I feel very energetic. After coming to meditation center, I also listened to Master's teaching. Now I got my life back and my family's life also improved. Thank you, Master. Well, from his sharing, he has 10 years of very unhealthy lifestyle. He drinks at night, he doesn't come back until right in the middle of the night. Actually, his work in the day is also quite intense. So drinking alcohols and taking like fried fish, fried peanuts, and because of that, these are the cause for his problems. So he used to work 1 week there's 7 days, and 6 days he indulged himself in such an unhealthy lifestyle.
尤其是过了50岁之后，如果没有养生这个意识的话呢，你生活我觉得他那个生活方式有点糟自己。
Actually, once you pass the age of 50, you must learn how to take care of your wellness, body wellness. Otherwise, you're abusing your own body. And that's why you can hear from his example, his body just collapsed. So there was once he was driving onto expressway. And he had a stroke while driving. He was lucky because he was still have some senses and he could still continue driving home. So that is very lucky for him.
还好，还好，这个总的来说，最后修了八卦内功之后，是吧？他就康复了。
So I think for him, after Energy Bagua, his health is back to normal. So he could walk freely, and he could do all the actions. That's very good. My advice to you is that you should try to have a healthy lifestyle. So after he practiced Energy Bagua, now he sleeps at 9 p.m. and he wakes up at 3 to practice Energy Bagua. That's a more normal lifestyle.
师傅，我现在的感觉啊，就是您之前讲过，咱们修炼修到最起码的一点就是。
I remember, Master, you once says that for us, when we practice, so that when we are old, we are able to take care of ourselves independently without relying on others. Yes, because if we are sick, the recovery process is also very painful. First, physically we are weak, and secondly, we are become a burden to our family members who have to take care of us. And most importantly, we do not know how long is the recovery process. And these wait times can be very devastating. So the question is, in the recovery process, is it possible that your condition be worsened? And if you think about it, if they have subsequent strokes, every stroke will be more serious. Maybe you're just drooling down, but maybe subsequently there'll be complete numbness that you can't even move. But actually for him, it was because of his unhealthy lifestyles, he didn't really care when he had the first strokes and second strokes. And I think he took certain alcohol.
高粱酿的酒哈，你像在河北、北京附近做的山东二锅头之类的，一般都用高粱酿造的。它的最低的度都是50度。
So the alcoholic drinks he drinks has very high alcohol content. It's about more than 40% of alcohol.
倒起来。
It is almost pure spirit. When you reach this age, you have to manage your health well. So you are the cause. Your unhealthy lifestyles and eating habits is the cause of your own illness. So for you, you're someone that you need to persist in your Energy Bagua practice. Congratulations that you finally gained your health back. So we have a present for him, Master. Well, I'm going to give him a zibit. Hopefully that you will remain your healthy lifestyle. So for some disease, if you do not rest at night, there are some evil energy. So hopefully this one will help you to ward off some negative energy. Wishing you health, wishing you peace, and wishing you auspiciousness. So Master, we have quite a lot of people who have strokes, and every time the subsequent strokes tend to be more serious. I find a lot of people gain their health by having a different practice methods, Masters. The methods you have taught us have helped people, not only just Energy Bagua. Energy Bagua is very, very effective, with thrombosis.
效果哈，也不是由咱们说的哈。
Well, actually, the effect is not something that we can say. It's because of the testimonial. It is based on the testimonial of people who have practiced it, and they themselves have benefited it.
对，我们现在正在这个韩国首尔白玉
We are now in
现
Seoul,
场的直播
a live broadcast.
对，这个我们在收到大家这些来信、这些受益哈，
We gather
其实我
all
们心里头特别的
the
开心，
letters of
特
all
别
the
的高兴。 就是你看
people
我
who
们这
share
个
their
法没有
benefits.
白传
We
授
feel
哈，
very happy
能
when
让
we
大家
read
真
those
正的能
letters
受益。
because we're happy
真的好，
that the
真的
methods
开
have
心。
helped you to gain your health back.
那还有这个网友啊，就问我哈，就来信问我各种各样的。
And I have
因为
questions from
前一期我
internet
们讲的
friends
关于这个血栓
from
的这
various
个
type of
点灯问
questions.
题，他有很多人他对于点灯的效果，还有这些哪些法物要带着或者经常
Some are
用的
curious
话，
to know about
哎，
light
对于这
offerings
一类的疾
and
病
also
哈，
Dharma
是有
blessed
防御作
items.
用、有好处的。那我就简单介绍一
So
下
I
哈。
just want to briefly explain.
从我先说的是材质，比
First,
如
I
你
talk
用来去
about
按摩
the
呀、去
materials.
刮一刮身体哈，这些的话呢，比如说玛瑙的。
For example,
玛
agate.
瑙这个材质哈，就通常
Agate
说
as a
又
material
不太贵，
is
还
not
容
too
易买到
expensive, it's easy to
还
get,
比较有这个通畅啊、活血
and it
呀、
helps to
增强血
strengthen the
流
blood
速度啊
circulations.
对，充满精气神呐，甚至
It
是
helps to
有
nourish
这个
the
灵
tea.
通灵意识哈。
It
对，
also
所以用玛
improves
瑙
the
这个材质比较
complexions.
好。我说的不分先后哈。那么还有呢，在这个材质中还有很贵很好的，现在比玛瑙可贵多了，
And we also have something that's
就是
even
沉
more
香，
expensive than manao.
或者叫沉香木的，
And
来做的这个
then
念
agate
珠
is
呀，
is actually
这个一颗
agar
珠子
wood.
也好哈。其实
Agar
正
wood
宗的
bracelet.
这个沉香哈，沉香和檀香，其实用小刀刮下来粉来，或者用小搓一点
Actually,
粉
for
下来，
sandalwood
就
or
冲着喝也
agar
是
wood,
可以的，也是很活血，
it
对
is
于
very
心脏、
good.
心
It
脑血
is
管特别
used to
好。
treat
就
cardiovascular
相
and
信对
cerebrovascular
消栓也有
disease,
好处。
like coronary
沉
heart
香
disease.
我用沉香做的这个东西，我都不敢说了，因为特别贵重。
But agar wood is very, very
好，沉
expensive.
香。再者呢，就相对又便宜又好买的，就是水牛角，
Next is
弄
ox
的是那个
horn.
刮痧板呐、顶穴位的，
They
它
are
其实有
or
点像那
rhinoceros
个钢
horn
笔型的，
or
对，
antelope horn.
后头宽，牛角嘛，后头宽，前面尖，但是
So
也不是特
the
别尖锐
front,
和顶我们的身体穴
these are
位。
actually
因
the
为有
ox
几
horn
次
massage
我让大
tools
家
are
跟着
actually
一
very
起呢，
good.
作为点穴按摩，
You can
效
help
果特
with
别好，对不对？
acupuncture.
哎，
It promotes
用
blood
这些工具
circulations
来
and
辅助
remove blood
点穴的话，效
stasis.
果更好。就用这些工具呢，是其实如果洗得干干净净哈，其实做很多女士不是做一些美容嘛，睡觉前哈，
Actually,
哎，
a lot of
这个
ladies
按摩
like
脸哈，
to
哎，
use
对
this
于有活
to
血、
massage.
散瘀还通灵。
It also helps to
美容。
improve the blood
它活血的
circulations.
话，你的所谓那个干硬死掉的那个不是眼角膜叫啥？角质皮哈，那个死皮它就容易刮掉它，
Especially your
还
dead
有让
skin,
你
you'll
的
be
皮
able
肤
to
呢
scrub them
也
off.
滋润美丽、细腻、光滑所以这个材质都是特别好。
So this
水牛角
materials is very
还
good.
有就是玛瑙的
The other type is agate material.
如果有别的牛角，我也不推荐，因为太贵，而且也找不到。比如说犀牛角，
The other one are more
还有羚羊角。
expensive. The rhinoceros horn
羚羊角有些
is
这个
very expensive. Antelope horn,
中药店里头有卖的，
you can find this at some
那
Chinese
些它是合
traditional
法销售的哈。
hall.
那么所谓吃素和比较善良的人也不
For
用担心，这是有
vegetarians,
杀生问题。
You want
那么我在草原上住过，
you may think that
因为
is this
现在有很
killing?
多大量的
I
是
used to live in
人工
grassland.
养殖的羚羊，
Actually,
或
a
者
lot
是
of
黄羊
this
或者是鹿之类的
antelopes,
比如说有鹿
these
龙
are
鹿角的销售
actually
它有很多养殖户，他们
rare.
在安全情况下，
They are not
不
those
杀
that
死
runs
这
in
些
the
动物的
wild.
情况下，他会来采集或者用锯
They will
掉。
collect
动作看似挺
they
粗
will
的，其实不会
harvest
伤害。
the horn.
其实它对于脚来说，对于这些动物来说，
Actually,
就
for
像人
this
剪指甲
animal,
几个
it
道
is like cutting nails.
你看我们养猫养狗，你也得给它剪
It
指
is
甲。
like you have
对，
cats
你
and
得养
dogs,
鹿
you
的
have
话
to
也
trim
适
the
当地给
nails
它
as
锯锯
well.
角
So
有
for
好处
antelopes, you have to
这
trim
就
their
是这
horn
样
as well.
但是人们呢就怕说你去到这个自然环境之中，
But what we are afraid is that you kill them in the wild. No, that is not. If you can antelope horn, it's even better. It is very good to improve the blood circulations, definitely. And also 扁 stone. I think a lot of people have that as well. Anhui has that. You can buy some on the internet. They use that for acupuncture tools. It's not expensive, but itself has a good energy field. You calm the mind, you regulate qi and blood. It also helps with the meridians. And I have friends that leave a message that see what I'm wearing. Tridesnia. That is not the shell now. It is during the ancient time. The huge clams. How big are the huge clams? They are the giant clams. I've seen that they are as big as 2 tires. These giant clams, the thickness, it is 30 centimeter thick. Actually, for Buddhists, they use this as an offering. So we pick something that are generally more white. And in the center, there's a yellow lines. It helps with blood circulations, reduce blood pressure. It actually calms the mind. It promotes blood circulations. It also helps to ward off evils. It is also preventive care. Thank you, Master, sharing with us so many benefits of this. Actually, thrombosis is actually a serious problem, but I think today, after hearing to so many testimonials, we find that through practice, we can actually help to reduce some of the risks associated with thrombosis. And Master also taught us a very special method, the 4 treasure powder. And that can also help as a preventive care. I think our centers, many of our centers will also try to produce some black plums, vinegars. And maybe if you're lucky, you may get that as a free gift.
好，那今天咱们时间也不短了哈，也快2个小时了。
So we're about 2 hours into our live broadcast. Let's just talk about the next live broadcast. Will be October the 8th, Korea time, 8 p.m. And if Taipei time will be October the 8th, 7 p.m. And Vancouver time is 4 a.m. That will be our next live broadcast.
好，最后呢。
And finally, wishing all health, longevity, happiness, and safety, and happiness to everyone in the family. And see you during the next live broadcast. 小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽了。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子
此不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我快乐了，我健康了，我健康了，我幸福了，我幸福了，我美丽了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我智慧了，我宽容了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我慈悲了，我自在了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真理，修行的